Hey guys, it's Sharon from How We Roll, minus Dan, as you can see. We haven't posted for a little while. We've been kind of busy. Turns out, beginning of last week, I managed to actually get COVID. So I am quarantining in a different hotel than Dan. I'm right across the parking lot. But I booked a room over here and I'm using it to quarantine in. Last Tuesday, I went and got the booster shot. And Dan had already had it a couple weeks before. So I finally got my appointment and went and got mine. And I had symptoms that, side effect type symptoms later that day that, you just wouldn't believe. I remember Tuesday afternoon talking to one of my sisters and saying, I'm not getting any more of these boosters. I have had it. This is enough. I was feeling pretty sick, and my sister and a friend of mine also separately had gotten their shots on Monday, and they were also talking about different symptoms. So I figured you just ride it out. It did seem maybe a little over the top this time. And then as I went through Wednesday, my sister and her friend started to feel better. And my friend started to feel a lot better, and I started to feel a lot worse. And since it was going in the wrong direction, and I had an appointment Thursday that would have exposed someone, that I didn't necessarily, you don't want to expose anybody, I guess. But anyway, I had an appointment. I would have been going into someone else's office situation. So I went and got tested on Thursday morning. And imagine my surprise when I get the little, you get the little text message afterwards saying it was positive. So then I went to the same facility again and I got a 4-hour PCR test, which was positive as well. So that's when it all started. I didn't have any symptoms past that of a pretty bad flu in the beginning, and a mild flu, by a couple days later. I mean, I have absolutely been sicker with things a lot less than COVID. So I went home to the hotel with Dan, kind of skated in without talking or touching anyone, picked up a whole bunch of random items. You'd think you'd be picking up things that you thought you'd really need in another hotel. I picked up some very strange stuff, just kind of panicking and throwing things into bags. I did get some stuff I needed, but there was a certain randomness to the assortment that was funny later on when I got to the room and unpacked. So I rented a room in the La Quinta, which is right across the parking lot from Staybridge. I requested a room with a view of the Staybridge. So I wonder they didn't lock me up for being a stalker on the spot. But I do have a beautiful room here. And I can see the entrance to the Staybridge. I'm looking at it right now. So I can stalker all of Dan's activities. Dan got tested. Dan has no symptoms, and he is still negative. He was tested on Friday at the same place that I was tested, was negative. On Sunday, he went to the urgent care in Cherry Hill, got tested with the 3-day-long PCR, also negative. We found out yesterday. So he is doing he's doing really, really well. We're hoping we're getting past a time when he would have caught it, from being exposed to me last week. I did want to tell you guys about therapy that I received that I would highly recommend for anyone at any stage of COVID. And if you have an underlying condition, you can even get this if you've been exposed but are still testing negative. Dan is actually going for it tomorrow. It's called monoclonal antibody. Monoclonal antibody infusion. It it's done at Cooper Hospital, which is where I went for it. I was in and out in 2 hours time. It takes 20 minutes for you to receive the infusion. It's a one of those tiny little IV bags. They give you fluid at the same time and monitor you. You have to stay there for an hour after the infusion completes, and they keep an eye on you, I guess. And after that, you leave. I didn't feel the effects immediately, but by the following morning, I felt so much better. I really felt like myself again. I had a few mild COVID brain symptoms, which I had read about and knew. It's a little bit like walking around with one too many Benadryls in your system, or it's like that feeling where you go into the next room to get something and you can't remember what it is. I do that all the time on my best day, actually. But it kept happening over a repeated amount of time, and I was having a lot of trouble accessing words that I wanted, or remembering what I wanted to do next. You have a consciousness of, okay, I'm going to do this and then that, and then I'll lay down or whatever. I would forget what I wanted to do repeatedly. So that was a very weird feeling. By the morning after the infusion, that was gone completely, which was great. That I would say was the worst part of it for me. I had the fever and the chills and all that, but again, I've been sicker with the flu, to be honest. So Dan and I have both been phenomenally lucky. He had had his booster about 2 weeks before I ended up getting it, which the doctor said was the perfect time. And he's a testament to that booster working, at least so far, because I'm all over him, helping with his care. I do his oral care, so my hands are in his mouth. I kiss him and whatever through the course of the day. He has not gotten it, and so far the other people I was exposed to on Tuesday night at my dad's house, where I go down a couple times a week to hang with him. My sisters, my dad, they have all tested negative twice so far as well. So, the old knock wood thing, hopefully no one else is going to get it. It is a very weird feeling knowing that you might have brought this to people. I don't know if you other guys that have had COVID have found that too, but I did not enjoy that either. So the monoclonal antibody infusion, I highly recommend it. If your doctor doesn't suggest it, ask for it. It can be given prophylactically, meaning ahead of a positive test to someone who's exposed. I managed to get Dan in for it tomorrow morning. Even though he's had a couple tests that were clear, I think we're going to go ahead with it anyway, just out of an abundance of caution and a little bit because he can. What it does is it floods your body with extra antibodies that, your body is, if you're positive, your body's churning out antibodies already. This is just like another flood of them. And the nurses and my own doctor raved about this, that they had gotten reports from people about how much better they felt after having that, around 24 hours after. So, I highly recommend it. I was a little skeptical. It was a little like, the miracle cure. I was kind of concerned, but there was no side effect. There's no real downside to getting it. So, I recommend that for you guys. Probably I'll do one more video. By the time you see this one, I'll be on the way home. Here are some signs I make. I walk over and see Dan through the window at the Staybridge. I'm that close. And we communicate through notes. So there are 4 more days of the quarantine. So today is Tuesday. I'm sprung on Saturday, at which point I will go racing across the parking lot because this is killing me, to be honest. So, you know, we communicate with all different kinds of notes. Okay, and this one, which is my favorite, you guys that know me on Facebook will know why. Keeping Dan posted on the number of days before Christmas. You know, and I can wave to him and we can talk kind of through the screen. He's doing really well with everything. He was, you know, very worried at the beginning, like you would be, like I would have been if it had been him. But he has done, you know, really well. His nurses and aides have really stepped up to make him feel better, you know, with me not being there, which is wonderful. One other kind of benefit of the monoclonal antibody infusion is that they hook you up with some COVID-related supplies. A couple of which I have, but a couple of which I left in the room and, you know, in a panic. So they give you a thermometer, a nice digital thermometer, a pulse oximeter or a pulse ox, so you can monitor the oxygen in your blood, and a spirometer, so you can test, I guess, your lung capacity. They give you these lists to, you know, to record things. You know, if you have anything to record. I've been fortunate. All of my readings have been great. So, you know, I ended up not writing anything down. And then you get a follow-up call a couple days after the infusion to see how you're doing. So once again, take away from this video. Get that monoclonal antibody therapy if you qualify it under any circumstances. You know, it was really great. So I posted some pictures before and after this video of me looking through the window at Dan. There's some pictures of the view from my window down onto the Staybridge parking lot, so you can kind of get a feel for how close we are. And some pictures of where I am in the La Quinta. I'm apparently the only person that raises their shades, so that's how you'll know which room is mine. We have been, and I want to give one thank you to our families. We have been so blessed to have so much help. Our kids have helped me out with the hotel room, which would have, you know, Dan and I do fine for money, but big chunks are sometimes hard to come by. So I got help from our kids on the hotel room, on groceries and incidentals. My three sisters, Karen, June, and Wendy, and my dad went in on sending me food and, you know, necessities like napkins and paper plates, that kind of stuff. I haven't had to do a thing, which in the beginning I didn't feel like doing, so it was really a treat. And we're very fortunate to have that many people that care for us. We've also gotten, there are all kinds of folks that have offered to help that we haven't needed to take them up on it, but it's greatly, greatly appreciated. Because, you know, even if you guys have offered to help us, I keep that in the back of my mind. And believe me, if we needed it, we would call on you guys. And it is such a good feeling to be able to have that security. So thank you all very much. Hopefully in the next couple videos, we'll get the big guy back so he can weigh in on everything that's been going on. And if you guys think of it, hit the subscribe button so you can get the rest of our updates. Thanks very much. I'll see you in the next video.